Greetings, dear friends, and welcome to this quiet space, a sanctuary for reflection and understanding. In the hurried currents of modern life, many find themselves adrift, caught in the relentless grip of desires that promise solace, but deliver only deeper entanglement. Today, we shall speak of a profound human experience, one that touches countless lives: addiction. It is a word that often carries the weight of shame and judgment, yet in the gentle light of ancient wisdom, we see it not as a moral failing, but as a profound expression of suffering, a misguided search for peace in a world of constant change. From the timeless teachings of the Buddha, we learn that all suffering, or dukkha, arises from craving and attachment. When we cling to fleeting pleasures, to substances, or to behaviors, believing they will bring lasting happiness, we inevitably encounter disappointment and pain. Addiction, then, is a powerful manifestation of this craving, a relentless thirst that can never truly be quenched by external means. It is a cycle of seeking, finding temporary relief, and then falling back into a deeper state of dissatisfaction. But fear not. For just as suffering has a cause, so too does it have an end. The path to liberation from this cycle is not one of harsh self-denial, but of understanding, mindfulness, and compassion. Today, I will share with you 10 simple ways, rooted in the profound philosophy of Buddhism, that can guide you towards controlling these powerful attachments and finding true inner peace. These are not mere rules, but gentle invitations to observe, to understand, and to transform. Let us embark on this journey together with open hearts and minds. Acknowledge the suffering, right understanding. Our first step on this path, dear friends, is perhaps the most courageous: to acknowledge the suffering. In the teachings of the Buddha, this is known as right understanding, or Samma Ditthi. It is the clear-eyed recognition that life, in its very essence, contains suffering, and that our attempts to escape this inherent truth through external means, such as addictive behaviors, only deepen our entanglement. When we are caught in the throes of addiction, we often try to deny the pain, to numb it, or to pretend it does not exist. But like a thorn embedded in the foot, the pain will persist until it is acknowledged and removed. To acknowledge suffering is not to wallow in despair, but to embrace reality. It is to see that the temporary pleasure or escape offered by addiction is but a fleeting shadow, followed inevitably by a deeper sense of unease, regret, and dissatisfaction. Lasting peace cannot be found in the fleeting sensations that addiction provides. It is a profound realization that the very thing we cling to for comfort is, in fact, the source of our continued distress. This understanding is the bedrock upon which all true healing is built. Consider for a moment the nature of your craving. Does it truly bring you lasting joy, or does it offer a momentary respite, only to leave you feeling more empty, more burdened, more distant from your true self? Right understanding invites us to observe this cycle without judgment, to simply see things as they are. It is the wisdom to discern that true liberation comes not from fulfilling every craving, but from understanding its impermanent nature and its inability to provide genuine contentment. When we truly understand this, the desire to break free from the chains of addiction becomes not a struggle, but a natural aspiration. This acknowledgement is a powerful act of self-honesty. It requires us to look inward, to examine our motivations, and to see the subtle ways in which craving has taken root in our minds. It is a compassionate gaze, free from self-condemnation, recognizing that this suffering is a universal human experience. By acknowledging the suffering, we open the door to healing, for only when we admit the wound can we begin to apply the balm of wisdom and compassion. Cultivate right intention, Samma Sankappa. Having acknowledged the suffering, our next step is to cultivate right intention, or Samma Sankappa. This is the sincere and unwavering commitment to liberation, a profound shift in our inner compass. It is not merely wishing for change, but actively directing our will towards a life free from the entanglement of addiction. This intention is born from the understanding that true freedom lies not in satisfying every craving, but in transcending the very nature of craving itself. Right intention manifests in three crucial aspects: the intention of renunciation, the intention of goodwill, and the intention of non-harming. The intention of renunciation means letting go of the addictive substance or behavior, not as a punishment, but as an act of self-love and liberation. It is a conscious decision to release the grip of that which binds us, recognizing that true joy is found in simplicity and inner peace, not in external stimulation. Secondly, the intention of goodwill extends not only to others but, crucially, to ourselves. Addiction often fosters a harsh inner critic, a voice of self-condemnation. Cultivating goodwill means treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we would offer a dear friend. It is recognizing our inherent worth, independent of our struggles, and nurturing a compassionate desire for our own well-being. This inner kindness becomes a powerful antidote to the self-destructive patterns of addiction. Finally, the intention of non-harming, or ahimsa, is paramount. Addiction, in its very nature, causes harm to our bodies, our minds, our relationships, and our spirit. Right intention calls us to commit to a path where we actively cease to inflict harm upon ourselves and others. This is a commitment to healing, to repairing what has been broken, and to building a foundation of peace and respect in our lives. It is a powerful declaration that we choose life, health, and harmony over the destructive pull of addiction. Cultivating right intention is an ongoing practice. It is about continually reaffirming our commitment, especially in moments of weakness or temptation. It is the inner resolve that guides us through the storms, reminding us of our deepest aspiration for freedom and peace. With a clear and steadfast intention, the path to recovery becomes not a burden, but a journey of profound self-discovery and liberation. Practice mindful awareness, right mindfulness. With a clear intention guiding us, we now turn to the practice of right mindfulness, or Samma Sati. This is the art of being fully present, of observing our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations without judgment, simply as they are. In the context of addiction, mindfulness becomes a powerful tool for disarming the automatic reactions that often lead to relapse. When a craving arises, our usual response might be to immediately seek to satisfy it or to be overwhelmed by it. Mindfulness offers an alternative: to pause, to observe, and to choose. Imagine a craving as a wave in the ocean. If we are caught in its current, we are swept away. But if we learn to stand on the shore and observe the wave, we see that it rises, peaks, and then inevitably subsides. Similarly, cravings are impermanent. They arise, they intensify, and they pass. Through mindful awareness, we learn to witness these internal experiences without being consumed by them. We create a space between the craving and our reaction, a precious moment of freedom where we can choose a different path. How do we cultivate this mindful awareness? It begins with simple practices. One such practice is breath awareness. When you feel a craving or an urge, gently bring your attention to your breath. Notice the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. Feel your chest rise and fall. This simple act anchors you in the present moment, pulling your attention away from the pull of the craving. It is not about stopping the craving, but about observing it with a calm and steady mind. Another powerful practice is the body scan. Lie down or sit comfortably and bring your attention to different parts of your body, noticing any sensations without judgment. When you encounter areas of tension or discomfort, simply acknowledge them. This practice helps us to become more attuned to the subtle signals our body sends, including the physical manifestations of craving. By becoming more aware of these sensations, we can respond to them with wisdom rather than automatic reaction. Mindfulness is not about perfection, but about practice. There will be times when you forget, when you are swept away by the current of craving. This is natural. The practice is simply to return, gently and without self-reproach, to the present moment, to the breath, to the sensations. Each time you do so, you strengthen your capacity for mindful awareness, building a sanctuary of peace within yourself that no craving can disturb. Engage in right effort. Samma Vaca. From the fertile ground of mindful awareness, we cultivate right effort, or Samma Vayama. This is the diligent and persistent application of energy towards wholesome states of mind and the abandonment of unwholesome ones. It is the active engagement in our recovery, understanding that while wisdom and mindfulness are crucial, they must be supported by consistent conscious exertion. This effort is not a struggle against ourselves, but a gentle yet firm redirection of our energy towards liberation. Right effort involves 4 key aspects. Firstly, it is the effort to prevent unwholesome states, such as cravings or negative thoughts, from arising. This means being proactive in identifying triggers and developing strategies to avoid or skillfully navigate them. It is like tending a garden. We remove the weeds before they take root and choke the wholesome plants. Secondly, it is the effort to abandon unwholesome states that have already arisen. When a craving or a destructive thought appears, instead of dwelling on it or acting upon it, we consciously choose to let it go. This might involve redirecting our attention, engaging in a positive activity, or simply observing the thought until it dissipates. It is the practice of non-identification, recognizing that thoughts are not us and we do not have to be bound by them. Thirdly, right effort is the endeavor to cultivate wholesome states that have not yet arisen. This involves actively nurturing positive qualities such as compassion, patience, generosity, and joy. We intentionally seek out experiences and practices that foster these states, knowing that they will naturally displace the unwholesome ones. It is like planting seeds of beautiful flowers in our garden, ensuring they receive the nourishment they need to flourish. Finally, it is the effort to maintain wholesome states that have already arisen. Once we experience moments of peace, clarity, or freedom from craving, we consciously work to sustain them. This might involve continuing our meditation practice, engaging in supportive activities, or simply savoring these positive experiences. It is the ongoing care for our garden, ensuring that the flowers continue to bloom. Right effort is not about striving for perfection, but about consistent application. There will be days when our effort feels strong and days when it wanes. The key is to return again and again with patience and perseverance. Recovery is a journey, not a destination, and each conscious effort, no matter how small, strengthens our resolve and brings us closer to lasting freedom. Remember, even the mightiest river begins with a single drop of water. So too does liberation begin with a single, sustained effort. Embrace impermanence, anicca. Let us now contemplate the profound truth of impermanence, or anicca. This is the understanding that all phenomena, all experiences, all things in this world are constantly changing, arising, and passing away. Nothing is fixed, nothing is permanent. While this truth can sometimes evoke a sense of unease, for those grappling with addiction, it holds a powerful key to liberation. Addiction often thrives on the illusion of permanence. We might believe that the pleasure derived from a substance or behavior will last, or that the pain we seek to escape will never end. But the truth of impermanence reveals the fallacy of these beliefs. The high is fleeting, the escape is temporary, and even the most intense craving will, in time, subside. Just as the seasons change, just as day turns into night, so too do our internal states shift and transform. When a craving arises, It can feel overwhelming, as if it will last forever. But by embracing impermanence, we can observe it with a different perspective. We can remind ourselves, this too shall pass. This understanding reduces the power of the craving, for we know that its grip is not eternal. It allows us to ride the wave of discomfort, knowing that it will eventually break and recede. This principle also applies to the perceived benefits of addiction. The temporary relief, the fleeting euphoria. Clinging to them only leads to suffering when they inevitably disappear. By recognizing their transient nature, we loosen our attachment to them. We begin to see that true and lasting peace cannot be found in anything that is subject to change, but rather in the wisdom that understands and accepts this fundamental truth of existence. Embracing impermanence also means accepting that recovery itself is a process of constant change. There will be good days and challenging days. There will be moments of clarity and moments of doubt. By accepting this ebb and flow, we avoid becoming discouraged by setbacks and learn to appreciate every step forward, no matter how small. Each moment is new. Each breath is a fresh opportunity to choose a path of freedom. Let the understanding of impermanence be a gentle reminder that even the darkest night gives way to the dawn, and even the most persistent craving will eventually pass. Develop self-compassion, metta. As we journey deeper into the path of liberation, we encounter the profound practice of developing self-compassion, or metta. This is the cultivation of loving kindness towards oneself, treating our own being with the same tenderness, understanding, and care that we would offer to someone we deeply cherish. For those touched by addiction, this practice is not merely beneficial, it is essential. Often, the cycle of addiction is fueled by a harsh inner critic, a voice of self-blame and shame that whispers, "You are not good enough," or "You deserve this suffering." This voice, far from helping, only perpetuates the cycle of pain. Self-compassion is not self-pity or self-indulgence. It is a clear-eyed recognition of our shared humanity, acknowledging that to err is human, and that suffering is an inevitable part of the human experience. When we stumble, when we feel the pull of old habits, instead of recoiling in disgust, we can offer ourselves a gentle hand. We can say, "This is a difficult moment. May I be free from suffering." One powerful way to cultivate self-compassion is through the practice of loving-kindness meditation. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and gently bring to mind phrases that express goodwill towards yourself. You might repeat silently, "May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease." Softening the edges of self-judgment and creating a warm, nurturing space within. This practice gradually rewires the brain, replacing patterns of self-criticism with those of self-acceptance and care. Remember, addiction is a complex phenomenon, often rooted in deep-seated pain and trauma. It is not a sign of weakness, but a manifestation of suffering. By extending compassion to ourselves, we begin to heal these deeper wounds. We create an inner environment that is conducive to recovery, one where growth and transformation can truly flourish. Just as a gardener nurtures a delicate plant, so too must we nurture our own fragile hearts with the gentle rain of self-compassion. This kindness becomes a powerful force, dissolving the rigid walls of self-condemnation and opening us to the possibility of true healing and lasting peace. Seek right livelihood and environment. Samma Ajiva. Our journey towards liberation also calls us to consider our right livelihood and environment, or Samma Ajiva. This principle extends beyond merely how we earn our sustenance. It encompasses the choices we make about where we live, with whom we associate, and the activities that fill our days. For one seeking freedom from addiction, creating a supportive and wholesome environment is as crucial as cultivating inner wisdom. Just as a plant thrives in fertile soil and sunlight, so too do we flourish in surroundings that nurture our well-being. Examine your current environment. Are there places, people, or situations that trigger your cravings or pull you back towards old patterns? Right livelihood, in its broader sense, encourages us to minimize exposure to such influences. This might mean making difficult but necessary changes, perhaps seeking a new living situation, adjusting your social circle, or even re-evaluating your profession if it consistently places you in compromising positions. It is not about escaping reality, but about skillfully arranging our external world to support our inner transformation. Consider the company you keep. Do your companions uplift you, support your aspirations for sobriety, and encourage your growth? Or do they inadvertently, or even intentionally, draw you back into the habits you are striving to leave behind? The Buddha taught the importance of kalyana mittata, or spiritual friendship. Surrounding ourselves with those who walk a similar path, who offer encouragement and understanding, creates a powerful field of positive influence. These are the friends who will remind you of your true potential when you forget, and who will hold the lamp for you in moments of darkness. Furthermore, reflect on how you spend your time. Are your daily activities aligned with your intention for a life free from addiction? Engaging in wholesome activities, such as meditation, study, creative pursuits, spending time in nature, or acts of service, fills the void that addiction once occupied with meaningful and nourishing experiences. These activities not only distract from cravings, but actively build new, positive neural pathways, strengthening your resolve and deepening your sense of purpose. Seeking right livelihood and environment is an act of profound self-care. It is a recognition that we are not isolated beings, but are deeply influenced by our surroundings. By consciously choosing environments and activities that support our healing and growth, we create a powerful external framework that reinforces our inner commitment to liberation. This is not about perfection, but about making incremental, conscious choices that lead us closer to a life of peace and freedom. Practice. Right speech. Samma Vaca. Our words, dear friends, are powerful. They shape our reality, influence our relationships, and reflect the state of our minds. Thus, the practice of right speech, or Samma Vaca, is an indispensable part of our journey towards freedom from addiction. This is not merely about avoiding harsh or untruthful words, but about cultivating speech that is truthful, kind, beneficial, and timely. For one in recovery, the way we speak, both to ourselves and to others, can profoundly impact our progress. Firstly, right speech calls for truthfulness. Addiction often thrives in secrecy and deception. To speak truthfully about our struggles, our cravings, and our progress, even when it is difficult, is an act of profound courage and self-liberation. It is about shedding the masks we wear and allowing ourselves to be seen, warts and all. This honesty, particularly with trusted friends, family, or a supportive community, builds a foundation of trust and allows for genuine support to flow into our lives. Remember, the truth, like a clear stream, purifies all that it touches. Secondly, our speech should be kind. This applies not only to how we address others, but crucially to our internal dialogue. The self-talk of an addict can often be filled with self-condemnation, blame, and negativity. Right speech encourages us to replace these harsh inner words with compassionate and encouraging ones. Instead of saying, "I am a failure," we can say, "This is a challenge, and I am learning." Cultivating kindness in our inner voice is a powerful act of self-healing, transforming our inner landscape from a battlefield into a sanctuary. Thirdly, our speech should be beneficial. Before speaking, we can ask ourselves, is this necessary? Is this helpful? Is this kind? And kindness. In the context of recovery, this means avoiding gossip, idle chatter, or conversations that might trigger old patterns or reinforce negative beliefs. Instead, we can choose to engage in conversations that uplift, inspire, and support our journey towards sobriety. Our words can be a source of encouragement, both for ourselves and for those around us. Finally, right speech is timely. There are moments for silence and moments for speaking. Learning to discern the appropriate time and place for our words is a mark of wisdom. It means not speaking out of impulse or reactivity, but from a place of calm reflection. This mindful approach to communication allows us to build stronger, more authentic connections and to navigate the complexities of recovery with grace and clarity. By practicing right speech, we not only transform our external interactions but also purify our internal world. Our words become tools for healing, for connection, and for reinforcing our commitment to a life free from the suffering of addiction. Cultivate generosity and service, Dana. In our journey to transcend the self-centeredness that often accompanies addiction, we find immense liberation in the practice of generosity and service, or Dana. This is the selfless act of giving, of offering our time, energy, and resources for the benefit of others, without expectation of reward. Addiction, by its very nature, can narrow our focus, making us preoccupied with our own desires and discomfort. When we are caught in the grip of craving, our world can shrink, revolving solely around the object of our addiction. The practice of generosity helps us to break free from this constricted view. By turning our attention outwards, by seeking opportunities to alleviate the suffering of others, we begin to realize that our own struggles are not unique, and that true happiness lies not in accumulation, but in giving. It need not be grand gestures or material wealth. It can be as simple as offering a kind word to someone in need, lending a listening ear, or sharing a smile. It can be volunteering your time to a cause you believe in, helping a neighbor, or simply being present for a friend. Each act of giving, no matter how small, creates a ripple effect, not only benefiting the recipient, but also enriching the giver. It reminds us of our inherent capacity for compassion and our interconnectedness with all beings. For those in recovery, engaging in service can be particularly potent. It allows us to transform our past experiences into a source of strength and wisdom for others. By sharing our journey, by offering support and understanding to those who are still struggling, we not only reinforce our own sobriety, but also contribute to the healing of the wider community. This act of giving back can be deeply fulfilling, replacing the shame and guilt of addiction with a profound sense of worth and contribution. Cultivating generosity is a continuous practice, a gentle opening of the heart. It teaches us that true abundance is found not in what we possess, but in what we share. As we give freely, we discover that our capacity for love and compassion is boundless, and that in serving others, we ultimately serve ourselves, paving the way for lasting peace and freedom from the grip of addiction.